I was a bit inspired by being out in nature. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to make a couple of boho wall decor pieces, and I think you're really going to like them. If you want to see what I did, well, then follow me. What's up, Blue Dots? I'm Elaine, the Midnight Crafter. Now, a lot of you have been asking me for a while to do some boho style design DIYs. Honestly, boho has never really been my main go-to style. I think because growing up as a teenager, I did a lot of that stuff. So I don't know, it's kind of, but it's back as everything, and hopefully we'll never have the big high bangs and the shoulder pads back. But anyway, that's a whole other story. These little boho wall decor ideas were kind of a conglomeration with some ideas that a friend of mine had and some sticks that I found out here as I was kind of walking around. So I'm looking forward to showing them to you, but I would really like it first, and I always mention this, but please do go check out that description box below, because down there you're going to find not only a link to enter to win a really cute little bling owl keychain, but you'll also find the link to head over to our Facebook group, Midnight Crafter Glue Dots, where you can join there, post some of your own DIYs, show us what you're up to, and sometimes interact with me, because I like to get on there and see what everybody's doing. It's a great, great group. Well, I think that's about it. I covered it all. Let's go check out these really cute DIYs. There's any number of places you can start with this project, but I'm going to start first by showing you how to make this. This can be used either as a coaster or as a hanging ornament or anything you want, whatever. Sky's the limit, use your imagination. What we're going to use to make these is this macrame cord that I actually got on Amazon. It's a huge roll of it, and it's 219 yards. I will leave a link below for this. I mean, you will use and use and use this and never run out, it feels like. So we're going to start with a piece that is about 36 inches long, approximately. Longer, shorter, give or take, doesn't really matter exactly. And that's going to be our initial piece that we're going to use to go around. After that, depending on how large or how small you want this to be, will be how long you make these pieces. So these are going to get folded in half. My guess is that this is approximately 36 inches, and these we're going to cut 5 of. Once all your pieces are cut, you're going to take the first original strand that you had, and you're going to pretend like you're making a cursive E, starting with your short side here as if you're going to write something. So you're going to do something like that. And I know you guys are seeing that upside down, but when you're looking at it yourself, you're going to make your loop as though you are making a cursive E. So your short side should be to the left, and all the long rest of your cord should be to your right. Next, we're going to take one of our 5 strands, fold it in half, and take the folded end, putting it underneath the overlapped part of your E. And then we're going to be passing these ends through so that we can attach this piece to our base piece. Now I'll do that one more time to show you, to give you a better viewpoint. So just like that, pass the bottom ones through. Now I'm not sure, there is a name for this type of knot. I'm not sure what it is. Okay, so here you see I have 2 of them on there, and I'm gonna do the other 3, making sure that it's on the double part of my, meaning you don't want it to be only through one. You wanna make sure it's through both. Once you have all 5 of them on, what you're going to do, pull your longer side, and you're going to close this loop up. And what that's going to do, you can see it is bringing everything around and starting out our circle. You can pull the short side a little bit, but I like to pull the long side because this is just going to be an extra piece at the end that will either be tucked under or cut off. So you should have a nice tight circle like this. Okay, I flipped things that are upside down for me so I can show them right side up for you to make this as easy as possible, because I know when I was learning how to do this, I was watching video after video and found it super confusing. So I'm going to try and break this down and make it as easy as possible. This piece here is our single long strand. You can see we have our each double strands out. We're going to take our first section because we're going to be going around clockwise with our long piece. You're going to separate these just temporarily here, and we're going to take our long strand, put it over the short piece, and then take the short piece and put it over the long strand and through that little cubby that we just made. Now you'll see that it basically just looks like we're tying a knot here, a regular knot. But the key to this, which was what completely confused me initially, was this is our long piece, remember here. This piece needs to stay in line with our circle that we're going to be making, our spiral here. Okay? And if you don't do that, it's going to get very confusing and look very just wrong. And I will show you, this is what happens when you don't do it like that. So not that it looks bad, but you can see when you do it wrong, it's like this. When you start doing it right, it will start forming that. Okay, so now we're going to continue on. The same short piece that we had that we were working with initially, we are now going to put over our long piece, pass it then under the long piece again, and it will form this little loop here. Now again, make sure that your long piece is staying next to the spiral that you're forming, and then you're going to start to see your loops form. Okay, so what I did, I turned this around so that I can show you it in the direction that you would be doing it. I think it's going to make it easier. What you're going to be doing is what I was showing you. So you have your two strands, okay? Separate the one out toward you. Then your long strand will go over the short strand, that first short strand. And then your short strand will come over it and through the loop. And then as you're doing it, just make sure that you hold this piece, as I said, close to the direction that it's going to be continuing. Now we're going to take that short piece, put it over, under, and through the hole. And you'll see that it will make our next loops. And then the other one is in position, ready to go. It's already underneath it, as you can see. So then we're going to come over the long one and through that hole. Hopefully this makes it a little easier. I know it makes it easier for me to work. So then make sure that you don't forget and just do that once, because that strand has to make its second pass, which is over the long strand and through the hole. This is what locks in the knot. Okay, so you see there's a little bit of space there. That's okay. We're going to be adjusting for that as that space gets bigger. So now you see that it's already under there. We're going to put that under, over, and through. Then over and through. And you can see what a difference it makes holding this piece in the direction you need to be going. That is all the money right there, you guys. If you learn nothing else, that is the trick. Now you can see we've made our full circle around right now, and we're back here at our short piece. And there's a very large space between our long string and our next short set of strings. So in this case, what you're going to be doing, you'll need to take another piece of your cord, and you're going to measure out the length of one of your cords and double that. Now what we're going to do is take that cord we just now cut and do again sort of how we started our beginning, folding it in half. And this time we're going to be putting it through our long piece of cord in the same manner and attaching that. So now you can see it brought us much closer to this next string that we need to be at. So there we go with that under the long one, over and through. Over, under and through. Now you can see again, there's another very large space here, and I don't want to stretch that far, so we're going to do the same thing again. Taking our cord, measuring the length, doubling that up, pass it through. Now you don't want to do those too many times because it will leave holes. So you do want to get it to where it's pretty close to the next one, and hold it, when you hold it tight, that they're pretty much close together. I learned that the hard way also, by adding too many and then having big spaces in between. Now you can see here there is a space, but if I pull this much closer, it will get nice and snug. You can see here there was a little bit of a space. I didn't hold it as snug, but that's okay. That won't show in the long run. So instead of adding another one in there, even though it seems like it's far apart, if you're able to pull this and get them close, that's more important. So I want to show you again, in case you're still struggling, show you the wrong way. So when you put it under, over and through, if you don't have your long piece pulled snugly, you're going to get something strange like this, and it's going to be confusing. If you have your long piece pulled in this direction, it's still going to look a little strange initially, but you push it over, and then once you get that second one in, you'll be able to see your loops. This is getting a tiny bit far again. Even if I pull it, it's a little bit far, so I am going to add another piece of cord in there. I'm starting you off with the harder of the two. If you guys can get this one, that other one will be a cakewalk. Okay, full disclosure here, guys. You definitely need a longer long piece, because you can see my short pieces are still really long, and my long piece I ran out. So right about here, what I ended up doing, instead of tying a knot that would be bulky, I used my hot glue gun and I glued a piece so that I can cut as much as I need to finish it out. So I'm gonna add a good long piece on there and carry on. Just wanted to let you guys know that so you don't make the same mistake that I made. As you get further and further around, you're going to notice obviously that your strings are going to start getting shorter and shorter, as this one is right here, and probably that was the last round on that one. So keep going until they all get fairly short, and some of these you can see are really short. That will probably end up being the length of my tassel-y fringe at the end. So keep working your way around, and once we get to the very end, I'm going to show you how we're going to finish this off. Well, okay, it looks like I've pretty much reached that point here. I have my long piece, and these are all random lengths here. And what we're going to do is take this long piece that we have left and find a space as close by to it, right in the next row, and push that through. If you need to, you can use your scissors or something to help push that through. So you can see I've pulled it through there, I'm flipping it to the back side, and I have my other piece here. You have a couple of choices on how you can finish this off, depending on if this is going to be showing or not and how you want it to look. One option would be to tie these off and kind of finish it off that way, which you'll be showing a little knot back there. Another option would be to feed this, you're gonna have to cut it shorter probably, but to feed this through and sort of weave it in some of these behind pieces to hold it in place. That's a little harder because the rope starts to fray. If you have a darning needle or something like that that would help you to do that, that will be really, really helpful. So you can see that it won't really show if I start to sort of weave it through some of these back pieces. You can also add some hot glue to the tip of this, which would also make it easier to feed through and weave it through some of the back parts. This other short piece here from the start, you can just cut that one off. It will not come out. It will stay really pretty firmly in place. once you weave this through a couple different spots here, you can cut this off as well and you'll be fine. This way the back looks nice and so does the front. Next, what we're gonna do is, if you have a good pair of scissors, like these, I don't have my good scissors with me, but if you have a good pair of scissors, like the fabric scissors that you kill anybody if they cut anything other than fabric with, what we're gonna do is take our scissors and go around and find your shortest piece and cut your tassels to that length. Once you have all those pieces cut, you can leave it like that if you want to. What I did is I got this comb from Dollar General, but I would recommend actually even better the little dog brush or cat. I think they're dog brushes and they're kind of wire ones and you can get those at Dollar Tree. But you're gonna go through and brush out your little tassels here. Once you kind of got the hang of doing this, you can also do it using what I tried doing using this jute twine that I got from Walmart. This is a huge roll and I think it's like $5 or something, so it's a really good deal. And I made one using that and it came out like this. So this way it gives us various colors and textures to add to our design. But I would recommend first learning with the macrame cord because it's a lot easier to work with and it's a lot clearer to see what you're doing. Now what we're going to do, if you're going to be hanging this, you're going to want to have some type of a little loop. So very simple, all we're going to do is take a piece of our cord, find a spot the same way we fed through the other piece, feed your piece through, and create your loop. I'm just tying that in a knot, but you may want to make this longer or shorter. You may decide you want to make tassels on the end of this by cutting it and fraying it like you did with this. It depends. We're going to just see what projects we end up and how we end up using these. I have a couple ways in mind that I'm going to show you. I'll put that aside. And next we're going to be working on making the leaves. Those are much easier, so hang with me, guys. Okay, are you ready? This is so much easier. We're gonna do our leaves, and to do that, we're gonna take one long piece and decide about how long you want your leaf to be. You're going to need to figure out to leave part of it as the loop at the top, and part of it will be the fringe at the bottom. So my piece here is approximately 10 inches, and I'm going to, obviously that doubled. It's a 20-inch long piece that is folded in half. So now we're going to figure out what we want the width of our leaf to be, and we're going to take our cord again and figure that out, placing it on here and cutting that piece. Now in order to make one part of each leaf, you need two pieces. So you do want to do that. Now what I found the easiest way, just to cut several of them at a time and have that ready. Now I'm actually going to make 13 of those sections, so I'm going to need 26 pieces cut at this length. So we have our original 20-inch piece that's folded in half just like that, and now we're going to take two of our shorter pieces, fold one in half, put it underneath just like that, fold the other one in half, and it's going to go the opposite direction. So you're going to want to pick up those two pieces that are below and pull them through there, and take these two pieces and put them down through this side so that we can start to form our leaf. Then we're going to work our way all the way down. So now we have the piece looking like this. The next piece we're going to be doing, do you see this piece here is on top because our first piece we laid down under. The next piece we're going to lay down under this side and do the same thing we did on the other one. By doing it this way, you don't have to think. You just can see that you're going to alternate where this upper part is. So now I know that because this is here, the next one will lay under this way. So I'm going to go ahead and put all 26 of my pieces of string in place, and then I'm going to show you how to finish off this leaf. I told you this one would be much easier. Are you guys getting value out of my channel? If you are, please don't forget to give a thumbs up. Let me know what you think. And I'd love it if you join our Glued Out family, so hit that subscribe button below too. Once you've got all your pieces on there, you're going to kind of push them together a little bit, sort of squeeze them together, not so they're too scrunched up, but that you want them to be a little closer and have a little tighter look to them. Now obviously, depending on how long you make this piece and these pieces, you can make a bigger or a smaller leaf. So the next thing we're gonna do is take again our comb and start combing these out so we can get the little fringes the same way we did on the ends of our circle. Here's how it's looking so far. I'm gonna go ahead and finish the other side, and then we will be trimming this to even it out a bit. Okay, once you get everything combed out, we're going to be trimming. So you can see I had a short string in here, which is going to dictate kind of the width of my leaf at that point. And again, my scissors are terrible, guys. If you have really nice fabric scissors, that would be the best thing to use. And there you have your first feather. They're so cool, or leaf or whatever. I don't know, I feel like they kind of look like feathers, but they look like leaves too, so I might mix that interchangeably. Okay, so I have various leaves done, different shapes, different sizes, and I went out and was walking and found this stick. So if you have any area around you or any parks or anything, you can find a stick. This is free, which is great. So I'm gonna put that up here at the top, and I've laid out my leaves in a way that I think will look good for me. And what we're gonna do at this point is where those leaves are, I'm gonna use my either twine or cord or whatever matches them to hang them from kind of the positions that you see them in right here. So I do want to really quick just go over again. These two leaves here were made just with this directly, and you know, I've made so many different things. You guys can see this spool is still really, really full. So that was these. This one here was also this, but this was soaked in coffee for a couple of hours. This one was the Dollar Tree twine, and this one was the Walmart twine. So this gives you kind of an idea of what different twines and cording and things will look like in different colors. Also, I have one right now. I was trying to be all artsy fartsy and do it with beet juice. Well, that was a big fail. So what I did actually is I have it soaking, I have it drying. I soaked it in some water with food coloring, and it made a really nice pink color. So for my two leaves that have this type of cord, I'm going to get long enough pieces to hang them so it'll go around the stick and also long enough, plus a little extra just to be safe, and cut a piece for each section to hang the leaf where I want it at that height. So what I'm going to do to attach them is I have my piece, my extra piece of string folded in half. I'm going to pass it through the loop and then pass those pieces through so we can just attach this like that. And then at the top, I'm just going to tie a knot, and you can leave a little extra to leave you a bit of a tassel as well. And then we're going to put that under the stick and pass the leaf through it so that it hangs just like that. So I suggest you actually do leave your cut strings quite a bit longer, just so that you have something to work with and you can actually play with the lengths. Now we're just going to fringe up our little tails that are left behind here. Our last step will be to take our cord and to make the hanger for the top of this. You can double it up or you can single, whichever one you prefer. I think I'm going to double it up. I just feel like everything else will just look tidier if I do it double. And I'm going to leave quite a bit extra so that I can make a fringe at the end too, maybe a tassel or something like that. We'll see. So I have my long piece of cord here, and I'm going to pass it through the way I did for the other ones for this side. And then for the other side, I'm just going to tie it in a knot and do the same thing like I did with these. And then I may just make a little tassel, which I'll show you that. So what you can do on this side is just pass it through, just like that, and maybe add a few little pieces there for a tassel, or just fringe this out. And I am gonna go ahead and finish this off and show it to you guys up on the wall. And don't go away, because I'm gonna show you the second project right after this. Okay, for project number 2, I'm going to offer you 2 different options. One option is going to be to use this wire wreath form. This one was from Dollar General, but they have these at Dollar Tree as well, and I've already used part of it. But using the wire wreath form and then this mesh tubing from Dollar Tree that looks a little bit like twine or like nautical rope. And that is one option. If you're going to use this option, what you will do is cut out whichever size of circle that you would like to use, which for this one, I'm going to be using the smallest circle. And then you're going to be taking your mesh tubing and you're going to cut a piece that is approximately the amount that would go around your circle. Cut a little extra just to be safe. And then what we're going to be doing with this is we're going to be cutting the mesh tube. So you can kind of compress it a little bit so that your cut is pretty centered. And once it's cut completely, before it twists all up, you're going to put it around your wire form. Now, if you want to, it's up to you. If you don't want to cut your mesh tubing, you can actually cut your ring. But I like to have the ring be pretty solidly in place. I feel like it's just sturdier that way, so I didn't want to cut the ring. Okay, once you get that on there, you want to make sure that you actually sort of pull on it, because that's what's going to tighten it up again. So you don't want it to be loose, you want it to pretty much hug around the ring. And then when you get it all the way to the end, add a little dab of hot glue there just to hold it in place and to keep both ends together. You don't want to have too much extra, so you're going to have to cut off the excess. And then here's how your ring is going to look. So if you want to do this and if you like this look, great. If you don't want to do that, another option would be to use an embroidery hoop ring. And this is a 10-inch hoop here. I would either just use the center of the embroidery hoop or go through and do something like this, depending on the look that you actually prefer. Once you have your ring done, whichever ring you decide to use, you're going to take your little swirly thingy mabobby doohickey that we made, and we're going to be putting that in the center, and we're going to be hanging that. So figure out the length of cord that you're going to need to pass it through, hang it, and also maybe make a little bit a knot and maybe a tassel. So again, I like to usually cut a little more, and God knows if you get this spool of cord that I got, you're going to have plenty to last you a really, really long time. And then we're going to take the other one, and this one is the one that I made from the twine that I got from Walmart. So I'm going to use this one and actually its own twine to have this hang just below the other one here. Okay, so now that we have those two parts attached, I'm going to finish off this last hanging section by creating a tassel. In order to create the tassel, I'm going to use my cording again, since I have tons of it. And I'm just kind of looping and wrapping this to, as if you would be folding a cord or something like that, an extension cord or whatever. So I made sure that where I ended, the both ends are at the bottom. I'm going to take now another piece of cord, and pass it through all these loops here at the top and give a good tight knot there to hold this all together. And then what we're going to do, I'm going to show you a neat little trick I remember learning back when I was a teenager doing macrame stuff. We're going to take a nice long piece of cord here. Okay, we're going to be cutting those ends. Those are going to be our tassel at the ends first, so let's do that. Then we're going to take this piece of cord and you're going to start with it, a piece of it face down. So you're going to place this on top there, and then you're going to fold it down as if you were making another loop here. And here's your end. Then you're going to hold that end down, leave that little end sticking out, and start wrapping tightly around your gathered threads or your string or your cord or whatever. Okay, once you get that wrapped around a few times and you like the way it looks, you're going to take that original loop that we left sticking up and pass your end through it. Then you're going to pull this little piece we left sticking out, and it's going to pull that end inside so it holds everything in place. Now you don't want to pull it so much that you pull it out the other end, but you do want to pull it so that it hides that other end. Then we're just going to cut this piece close to the base of it so it doesn't show at all. And this way you have a really nice looking top part to your tassel. I'm going to cut everything to that length first of all with my horrible scissors. I could probably gnaw this off with my teeth faster and better. Okay, so once you do that, then we're going to take the comb again and start fringing these out the way we did on all our other pieces. I'm going to give it one more little trim to even up now since I got it all combed out. And then we're going to be passing this through the same way we did with the other one. And then I would suggest for this, instead of tying it just so it looks nicer, to hot glue, just a little dot of hot glue to get that just stuck together. I think it's going to just give a nicer, cleaner look to it instead of having a bunch of knots around everywhere. And I'm going to probably go back and do that on the one up above as well. Just make sure you glue it so that everything is nicely attached, because these do sort of fray a little bit. And I'm just going to pull that to there. I think it just looks so much tidier. Did you guys hit that thumbs up yet? And did you subscribe? Hope to see you soon in my next video. I'm going to show you this one all put up and displayed so you can see how it turned out.